So I was just passing the SMiSA Stadium, home of St Mirren, in glorious, beautiful Paisley on my way up to Glasgow, and I just kind of thought, why don't I just pop in and we can do an on-location preview to tomorrow's game between St Mirren and Celtic. I'm standing just kind of away from the North Stand. I don't know if you can see that in the background. That is where the Celtic fans will be housed on Sunday. We just get one stand these days at St Mirren as opposed to the two that we used to get, but there's still going to be probably the guts of 2,000 Celtic fans here tomorrow for the game, and it's a big game as well. I know I feel like I say that for most matches. Last week was certainly a big game. I think this one is as well, given that we lost here earlier in the season. St Mirren remain the only Scottish team to have beaten us so far this season, which is remarkable, and we actually didn't even win here last season either. We came here once, you may remember it, just after Christmas 2021, and we drew 0-0. So 2 games here, no wins, no goals. Pressure on, Ange. Now, I just want to jump straight into yesterday's press conference. Ange Postecoglou was obviously there. It'd be weird if he wasn't. But so was John of 67 Hail Hail, and he got a couple of questions to Ange and a couple of very good answers. Here's how it went.
Hi Ange, a lot of people talk about the pressure of playing for or managing a club like Celtic because of the size of the support or the expectations of the fans. But obviously, over the last 2 years, the fans have been like a hugely positive force, even before success was delivered and kind of contributing to everything that's happened. From your perspective, is it less about dealing with pressure and more about actively engaging with the fans and building a synergy and bringing them along for the journey? And is that something you emphasise to the players as you're going along here? Or is the relationship we see between you guys and the support something that's more of a kind of natural byproduct of the way you guys go about your business anyway?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think you can't, again, I'm not one to force these kind of things. I wasn't going to. I think people figured out pretty quickly I wasn't going to tell our supporters how they should feel about us and our performances, and I certainly don't tell the players how they should feel about our support. You're kind of the perfect sort of scenario is that, as you said, there's a synergy there that both are working as one and understand. And from my perspective, I think I had the clearest indications really early on that the supporters, whilst are very demanding in terms of the success, they also are also pretty clear about what they want to see when their football team plays. And I think they saw that fairly early on in my tenure, albeit all being that the results weren't always there, but just the way we were trying to play our football. And I think the players that I brought to the club, I think there was certainly an acknowledgement from the supporters that okay, we'll give you a little bit of time for results, but at least we can see that what you're saying, you're endeavouring to build. And obviously then my role after that was, I've got to bring the results as well. And I think from there it's grown, and you can see that in the way as the players respond to our supporters and the way the supporters respond to the players. And I think that the game day experience now is one of, everyone sort of, rowing the same way, whether things are going really well for us on the field or maybe it's a little bit of a period in the game where it might be a grind. You get the sense that the supporters and the players are really sort of understanding that, if we stick to the things that are important to us, we'll find our way through. And I think you sense that on Sunday, that even through the patch where we had to grind things out, we did that, and our supporters were right behind us through that time. And I think like I said, that sort of thing needs to happen naturally, and I think it happens naturally when there's an alignment there of the vision that we have as a football club and the vision our supporters have for us.
Thanks. You actually touched on something there that I wanted to ask you about, because you spoke a little last week about giving the players responsibility and putting faith in them, to make, perhaps in-game adjustments based on game conditions, etc., because they're the people out there on the pitch who can see and almost feel the need to do that. Do you think this team's awareness and ability to do that is something that's getting stronger over time? And just generally, where do you think this team are at the moment in terms of what people might call game management, and especially in these super competitive games on massive occasions? Is this something we can expect this team to get even better at, as they build more experience together as a unit?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to, because, as I said, for me, the game is about the players. My role and the staff's role is to try and prepare them as best we can during the week and give them as much information. But once the game starts, it's really down to them. And I think if you look at their performances over the last 18 months and their ability to play in the big games, particularly domestically, then you can see that they are growing and sort of taking more and more responsibility out there. But that doesn't mean you get to a point where that they make all the decisions out there in terms of the way we play, because ultimately we still got to have a structure that we rely on. So like I said, for me, on the weekend they felt the need to adjust the way we played for a period of time, and they have that sort of autonomy for me to do that. My role then is to give them the feedback that, could we have even done things even better than that? And they get that feedback, and hopefully that feedback then allows them to make even better decisions next time. But we, as I said, my role and the staff's role is to give them as many tools out there that when they need to make decisions, they got the answers in their toolkit, rather than sort of looking for us for answers in the heat of the battle.
So plenty of interesting stuff to take away from Ange there. I enjoyed him talking about the fan base and the did he use the word synergy? Maybe. Certainly the relationship and the shared vision between the Celtic support and the team at the moment, and I think that's been there all the way through his tenure, even in the very early days. But you just feel it at every match you go to now that we're kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, quite literally in the supporters' case. And I feel like the team thrives off the support, and equally the support thrives off the team when they're performing well. So it's kind of win-win at the moment. In terms of the game tomorrow, it is against St Mirren. It is a difficult place for us to come. I quite like the stadium here. It's not one of the bigger stadiums in the league. It probably holds 7,000 or 8,000. It was built, well, it is a new stadium, but it's probably close to 20 years ago now it was built. And it's a kind of stadium that, because it's not that big, even if you're only getting a crowd of like 5,000, 5,500, it feels pretty full and pretty atmospheric. So I think it's going to be a good one tomorrow. St Mirren are having a good season. They currently sit 5th in the Premiership table. They also have the 5th best home record in the league, with 8 wins, 4 draws and 2 defeats. So they're very strong here at the SMiSA Stadium. I don't know, is it SMiSA or SMiSA? SMiSA sounds much cleaner, so I'm going to continue with that. Ben Siegrist is the only player not available for this match. He would hardly have started anyway. Hoping to have him back in training on Monday. So Ange has plenty of options for this match, just like last weekend. He did change up the team quite a lot the last time he came here in September for that 2-0 defeat. It clearly didn't work. So what will he do tomorrow? I think he might make a couple of changes, but nothing like what we saw the last time. This is a team I'm going for, with Joe Hart between those sticks. We've got a back four of Anthony Ralston in for the first time in 2023, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Carl Starfelt and Greg Taylor. I'm going for a midfield 3 of Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly and Reo Hatate, and a front 3 of Jota, Kyogo Furuhashi and Daisen Maeda. Now, Ralston may kind of stick out a wee bit there, given that Ange has played the same goalkeeper and back four, I think, for the last 6 matches. So it's weird not to see Johnson's name there. I just feel like I really want to see Ralston back in the team. Nothing against Johnson. I mean, that guy wasn't bad on Sunday. He was absolutely brilliant. But I just think with games coming up, it might be nice to see Ralston in. But equally, Ralston maybe start in midweek as well. That might make more sense. But I think both are incredibly able. It's not as if you're putting Ralston in and you're kind of a bit worried about that at all. I think I'd quite like to see him. Equally, Haksabanovic could maybe start as well, but I just have a feeling Ange might go with that front three that he's liked in recent weeks and bring Haxa off the bench. O'Reilly, I've got him in there as well. I'd just like to see him, but again, I'm not going to be raging if Aaron Moyes starts. That's just how we're feeling at the moment. Official wise, the referee is David Dickinson. Assistants are Ross McLeod and David Dunn. The fourth official is Ewan Anderson. VAR is Andrew Dallas, and AVAR is Jonathan Bell. And that's kind of it. I don't feel like there's a lot more really to chat about ahead of this game. It's going to be a physical battle. St Mirren will play two up front, I would think, like they did last time. I just think the fact we've got Carter Vickers and Starfelt playing at the back this time rather than Welsh and Jens like it was last time, God, that seems a while ago, I think should serve as well. The team seems more solid at this stage. Better going forward as well. We're scoring more goals than we were at that stage of the season, so I feel relatively confident about this game, but I don't think it's going to be a gimme, and I don't think we're going to win, very, very convincingly. I think even the last time we faced them in the Scottish Cup at Celtic Park, it was a tough game for the majority before we scored some late goals. So I think it's going to be tough tomorrow, but if we're up for the fight, hopefully the pitch is good. I can't actually believe it or not, despite being about 7 foot tall, I can't actually see over that fence and onto the pitch, so I'm not sure what that's like. Hopefully it's in good nick and we can get the ball passed around. We will have a reaction for you after the match. I'll certainly be on that, and hopefully some of the other guys will be as well, so we'll chat to you at that stage, hopefully with 3 more points in the bank. Bag.